In May, Singapore-based photographer Aram Pan took his GoPro camera into North Korea. He attached the camera to the windshield of the car that his tour guides were driving around the city. He took about 20 minutes of street footage just driving up and down the capital city's spotless roads. His goal, he says, was to capture everyday life, or everyday life as it's sanctioned by the 4 chaperones who accompanied him. Still, what he did capture was really pretty interesting because it shows all of the eerie streets in and around the capital city of Pyongyang, and you really notice that there's very few people and there's very few cars, and there seems very little in the way of actual human interaction or activity. Alright, Aram, how did this actually go down? How were you actually allowed to do this?
I didn't want to go in like, all sneaky and, hide my camera and stuff like that. So I figured maybe I should just ask them and see how it goes. And they actually said, okay.
North Koreans want you to be limited to areas they can control. It's actually hard to know what he bumped up against in terms of restrictions because he didn't seem to have necessarily pushed very hard. So was there one thing that they didn't let you do that you wanted to do?
No, not that I didn't encounter anything like that.
He says he thinks he saw a part of the city that no other tourists see, just because he basically asked if he could do that. It's unclear whether he was actually in areas of Pyongyang that no one else goes. He even himself says he doesn't know the names of the streets he was on, or necessarily what the layout of the city was as he was driving through it. Aram did say he wanted to see buying and selling, so his minders took him here to a trade fair. But again, this is a very limited depiction of what commerce in North Korea probably looks like. Tell me about what the 4 people that were chaperoning you around Pyongyang, what were their jobs? What were their responsibilities?
One is the driver, so if you're out walking on the road, he just waits in the car. One is the translator. One is the photographer. His job is just to make sure that I don't crop off or chopped off any of the leader's image. And the last one, he's some kind of official because a lot of times, like I said, I want to go swimming. Can I try? Do you have a swimming pool or something I could go to? So he's the guy that has to go there and explain to everyone, okay, I'm here, I'm doing this, yada yada.
This was pretty interesting. He asked his chaperones if they could take him to a swimming pool, and they took him to this place. This is a water park in Pyongyang. It's interesting in that it looks like a water park in any other part of the world. Aaron even got to do some underwater filming.
I did freak out a couple of people when I was taking the GoPro and I was swimming underwater, and I'll just pop up with the GoPro, and it did freak out a few of them, but it was just fun.
Obviously, North Korea is an incredibly poor and extremely isolated country, and there's been other video documentaries about the impoverished nature of life both inside and outside of Pyongyang and around the country itself. As far as giving us a look at sort of the hyper-banal nature of life in parts of Pyongyang, it was an interesting trip.